Good day, everybody. Today we're gonna get into chapter 10. In fact, it's the third chapter on community. Community was and is so important that we had to have 3 chapters dedicated to it. So let's dive in. Let's start with a word from Matthew 5:16. And in this chapter on community, we're talking about each and every one of us being the best servant leader that we can be. And here's what's written in Matthew 5:16. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Once I was on a mission trip to Taiwan, and we went to a church on Sunday morning in Taiwan, and I was asked to read from the Bible. And I chose Matthew 5:14 through 19. And basically, I read about the fact that we are the light of the world. And, you know, we wouldn't take our lantern or our light and put it underneath a table. We would take that light and we'd put it on the table so that everybody could see it. And why do we do that? We do that so that the light that's given out, the glory that we receive, and that light to me means the light that comes through me to others using my gifts that God gave me so that others could see it. But I don't do that so that the light basically is just on me. The light is a reflection of God's power, and is to show everyone how great He is. If I said to you today, name the greatest servant leader that you've ever heard about, I think many of you'd probably say, well, probably my mom, you'd say, or maybe my big brother or sister. Probably be somebody from your family. Others may go to somebody in the school, or maybe it'd be a coach, who knows. Many people would then take a historical figure, like some of the folks that we talked about earlier, maybe like an Abraham Lincoln, or maybe the greatest evangelist of all time, at least in America, Billy Graham. I was thinking about that, and I thought about a couple of people. I thought about the Apostle Paul. And I made a couple of notes that I want to share with you. I want to make sure I don't forget those. But Paul was a great servant leader, but he wasn't always, committed to sharing the gospel. In fact, before he became Paul, he was Saul, and he used to hunt down Christians and kill them, and he thought that was his mission in life. But he met Jesus on the road to Damascus. And he basically, at that time, saw the light. As he was being blinded, he saw the light. And he made the most miraculous conversion. And he went from a persecutor and a murderer to one of the greatest evangelists that ever lived. And he brought more people to Christ than probably anybody in history. Paul, he was beaten, he was whipped, he was persecuted. And they're really not totally sure how he died, but tradition has it that he was beheaded in Rome. Paul, when you think of how much he accomplished, he wrote 13 or 14 of the 27 books in the New Testament. So God was talking directly to Paul, and God wanted Paul to be the greatest servant leader that he could be. I want you to go back and read the foreword that Manny Ahom of Samaritan's Feet wrote. I want to make a little correction. I said that he put over 7 million pairs of shoes on boys and girls in Africa. The truth is he put over 7 million pairs of shoes on boys, girls, men, and women not just in Africa, but all over the world. So please reread Manny's foreword because there's another incredibly great servant leader that I hope someday you'll have the chance to meet. In Manny's foreword, however, I do want to mention this. He talked about the great African-American female poet, Dr. Maya Angelou, who once told him a few years before she passed away that we, and these are her words, we need to be the rainbow in someone else's cloud. We need to be the rainbow in someone else's cloud. We can bring light, we can bring joy, we can bring peace to someone who is maybe going through a very dark time. And when we do that, we are being a true servant leader. Let's go through the keys that we find in this chapter, the 7 keys to being a great servant leader. Number 1, to be a great servant leader, we need to discover our gifts. God has created each and every one of us with special gifts. I think He gave me the gift to coach. He gave me the gift to teach. And I know that I would not have been able to do what I did without the gifts that He gave me. But it took a lot of work, and it's still taking a lot of work to try to basically perfect those gifts. 2, second key. In order to be a great servant leader, we must be moved by compassion. Yes, compassion. Motivation is everything when it comes to servant leadership. We got to make sure that we're doing whatever we're doing for the right reasons. A lot of people live their whole life with one purpose, and that's to make money. But a lot of those same people are the most miserable people in the world. Matthew 20:28 says, "For even the Son of Man came to be served, came not to be served." Let me repeat that. "For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve others, and to give His life as a ransom for many." And that includes us. Key number 3, know your surroundings. And once you know your surroundings, get out there and talk to the people. 4, make a plan. Write it down. We've said this a few different times. Put it in writing, put it in black and white. 5, build your team. You can't do it alone. Find like-minded people who basically have many of the same beliefs that you do, but people who can bring something additional to the table as well. 6th key, be consistent. Make serving others a part of your routine. And when you start something, don't quit when things get difficult. Consistency brings long-term results. 2 Thessalonians says, "As for you, brothers and sisters, never tire of doing what is good." And the last key, make it sustainable. The ultimate goal is to build something that will last and can be shared for generations to come. We talked about our legacy, how our thoughts become words, our words become actions, our actions become habits, our habits becomes our character becomes our legacy. Make your servant leadership sustainable so that in the end of the day, it becomes part of your legacy, something that long after you're gone, people will not only remember you for, but hopefully somebody has picked up the mantle and they're carrying it on. Let's end in prayer. Let's end with this prayer. Lord, give me a heart for my community. Reveal to me the problems and empower me to be part of the solution. Give me a vision for the most effective ways to serve others. and bring people to me who will make up a strong, committed team. I want to bless others as a living testimony of your amazing love. And I put love in capital letters, L-O-V-E. So let's build a great community. And as we build that community, let's remember that each and every one of us has a huge part in not only building it, but sustaining it. And let's build it with love. Let's build it with encouragement. Let's build it with support. And if we do, it will live and last a lot longer than us. Once again, it's been a pleasure. Can't wait till next week. Take care of yourselves.